Hello! Is my mic working? Yes. Sneaky Biscuit? Not at all, not at all. It was announced in the Discord before I got here. It's not sneaky at all. Hello, hello, kitten. Oh, gonna have an early night. Sorry. Hey, Anton! Thank you for the sub and the lurk. I hope you're. Hey, that zombie guy still comes up. I forgot about him. Um. What's it called? I hope your TTRPG stream lore thing went well the other day. I did try to. I was gonna try and sit in, but I was babysitting, so it's like I didn't want to have divided attention. I didn't want to be like, "Hey, I'm here," but then also not. But hey, I got a sub and a kitten, man, and Anton here. That's awesome. I'm glad it went well. I'm glad it went well. I have still been working on World of Westeros stuff. I've just not been updating anything because I don't feel like there's a point anymore to update that shit. But I've been working on stuff for it anyway. Got some spells written. Nice. I know spells are quite complicated to balance. So I hope the balancing on them went well for you. I've basically just been rewriting my clockwork. I've been rewriting my Clockwork Man race. Which wasn't. Hey, little fucks. Is Gav right? I can't remember. Gav is constantly. Oh, I went the wrong way. I'm gonna die. Gav is constantly changing his name, so I don't remember. Is that Gav? Yeah, it's Gav. There you go. I'm glad it. Yeah, I'm glad the spell went wrong. Yeah, I'm rewriting my Clockwork Man race, which I did sneak into one of the characters' backstories. But the Clockwork Man race was a race I made when I was like, I want to say 20. And the only way it's really that different from the other, like the automaton race. Nice that you went to Alton Towers. Goddamn controller. The whole thing with the Clockwork Man race was because they're clockwork like robots. They can't be healed with like potions or spells because they're robots made out of clockwork parts. But they also have so they can heal themselves or repair themselves by finding anything that has clockwork parts in it. So if they find like an old, clock, old clockwork clock, they can use that to repair themselves and whatnot. And they also start with like they have a clockwork like rifle, like a flintlock rifle or pistol, but it's made out of clockwork parts. And basically, if that breaks, they can choose to use parts of themselves to repair it. So basically, they use a part of their health to repair it. Or if they're damaged, they can choose to break their gun and make it harder for them to actually get a successful hit with it. But to use parts to repair themselves. It's like the whole idea of having a whole race or class where it's like I can choose to damage myself to fix my weapon, or I can choose to make my weapon drastically worse in order to repair myself. And then it had all the... I think this one's glitched, so I have to let this thing kill me. Yeah, I think so. And then it also had the whole thing of like, they could choose to have like one weird thing about them. So like you could be like, oh, my Clockwork Man has like wheels built it, like he built wheels into his feet or something, shit like that. But they also had like they had advantages to like couldn't be poisoned, didn't need sleep, could breathe underwater. But then they had disadvantages like you couldn't actually swim; it just sunk to the bottom. If it does go in water, there's a chance it gets rust, and then that gives it disadvantage on like everything. As I said, it can't be healed by spells or potions, so it has to get clockwork parts. The person I showed it to at the time, because again I was 20 and I was a player in a DM's game, I showed it to him. I didn't say I wanted to play as the race. I was like, what do you think? And he was like, yeah, it's way too overpowered. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, it can repair itself using any clockwork part, you said. I'm like, yeah, but that's on the DM to make those things not easy to get, Went on the hex, which I've never been to Alton Towers, so I don't know any of these rides. But But yeah, like my thought there was like it's up to the DM on how easy it is to get clockwork parts. Like I could be a clockwork man, and we could just be somewhere where there's not much things that are clockwork. You know, you could just have it like nothing here is clockwork. Oh well. Yeah, I thought I'd do a late night stream because I used to do late night streams. When I first started, and the reason I stopped is because of the fact that Mike always does late night streams every day of the week, and I want to watch Mike, and I can't watch Mike at the same time as streaming, so I just don't stream at night. But Mike is sadly ill at the moment, so I thought I'd do one late night one. So that's why I'm here. I would have been here way earlier. My plan was to start at 8 and go for an hour and a half. And then it was, oh fuck you, seriously? I'm gonna have to redo all that, aren't I, you prick? And then my plan was to start at 9 and finish at 10:30. But I was babysitting today and little man just refused to go to sleep. And as he was drifting off with his mum, I went to leave and he was like, where didn't go? Stay? So I stayed until about 9 when he actually fell asleep. His bedtime's at 7 and I was trying to put him down since 7. He fell asleep at 9. I went shop, got milk and cereal, had a shower, had some cereal. Now I'm streaming. I hope everyone's doing well and doing okay. My back really hurts. That's all I can really say. Ah, oh, for fuck, this fucking cunty piece is pissing me off. Bastard. You a fucking bastard of a man. You fucking cunty bastard. Oh, so yeah, sorry there's no Alan Wake this week. Sorry I've been bad at Kofi stuff. Fucking controller whore wanker. I've not had time anymore. I don't really have that much time to myself anymore apart from Wednesdays. I'm doing like a lot of overtime at work at the moment because of Eid coming up, because a lot of my co-workers celebrate Eid, and to sort of help out so they could have more time off around this time, I was like, I'll do extra hours so they could have some time off, and you know, it's easier for them because they're fasting and stuff. So we need like extra hours at work and shit. And cool, my hysteria disappeared because that guy appeared, so that pissed me off. I did record something for Monday to go out, which wasn't Alan Wake. I spent ages working out how to record South Park Rally, a PS1/PC game. Did a couple, did 2 or 3 test recordings of it working. Recorded it. I recorded 40 minutes of pure anger and chaos because I forgot how hard that game. I had that game when I was about 5 to 10. Is the time I hadn't played that game, from the ages of 5 to 10. And I'll tell you that from the ages of 5 to 10, I unlocked most of the race courses and most of the characters. At the age of 25, oh my fucking god, could I not do the first cunting race? Could I not do this race at all? No, I couldn't. I was getting fucked royally. There was one time where I almost finished the race and then suddenly I just got shot like halfway across the track in the wrong direction, so no, I had to fucking start again. And then I finally finished the fucking race, and it was like, and this was the piece de resistance for that video that could never be seen now because it didn't record the video and it recorded the audio because it's a bastard. But here's the piece de resistance. I finished the race and I won, and I was like, yes. And it was like, you can go on to race 2 now because it's 4 races per rally. That was race 1 of the rally. It was like, you can go on to race 2. Also, if you fail these races 5 times, you have 5 coins. You fail the races 5 times, you restart from the beginning of the rally. And he was like, you can do race 2 now. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. So I've unlocked race 2. So I can start from race 2, right? Thinking about modern games. Forgetting that this was a PS1 game. So I exited to change character because I didn't want to play as Cartman, who was the one I won the race as. Yep, nope. Reset the race. So I'm back on race 1 of rally 1. Yeah. So yeah, after all that, there was just a moment of just like me just going, for fuck's sake, just right at the end, and I was just like, this is gonna be like, I hated this. I've hated recording this. I've had barely any fun. This is gonna make an amazing video. I did the wrong one. I was like, this is gonna make an amazing video for people to laugh at and enjoy. And then I went to edit it, and it was like, I only recorded the audio to add even more insult to your frustration of the last fucking 40 minutes. I only did the audio. I was like, just no. Just no. I gave up at that point. I was like, I'm not doing that all again. I'm not. So that's like where I am at the moment. Life is just beating me down constantly. Life is just constantly telling me to fuck off. At this moment in time. Is that not correct? No, it's not. That's correct. And obviously I'm not streaming tomorrow morning. For anyone who doesn't... Fuck off, controller! I need to get a new wire for this thing. Yeah, I'm not streaming tomorrow morning, for anyone who doesn't know that. Oh, I clearly did that wrong. Because I have to go to Romford. No, that's already wrong. I normally get this rather quickly, and I'm really not. Why did that take me that long to work that was so easy, and my brain was just not with it. It's because my back. All I can think about is how painful my back is at the moment. It's really killing me. It sucks. I'm an old man now. We've all decided this. We've all found out I'm an old man. Ripe old age of 25. You bastard. Oh, I've also mainly been, like, when I said I've been working on more the World of Westeros stuff, it has mainly been more stuff for the goblins. Oh, I gotta watch your thing. I will watch it, I promise. He's such a prick, isn't he? The executioner, he's such a bastard. Yeah, I've mainly been doing more goblin stuff because I fell in love with the goblin society that I made inside the mountain. We fucking... it was mainly because I flipped what goblins normally are in fantasy things. Like most fantasy things you see, like Lord of the Rings or this guy ain't dying, or Elder Scrolls or shit like that, is goblins are like very goblin-y and like tribal, and you know, like, oh, steely, like sharp daggers and sharp teeth because they like to eat like you know, they're goblins. I don't really know how else to explain it apart from they're goblins. We all know what goblins are like. You know, they're little sneaky thieving, like, eat meat bastards. That's what they are normally in fantasy. And there are those style goblins in the world of Horror Served. There is. But the small little, like, goblin... I say small, there's a whole society. The goblin tribe that I put inside the mountain are, like, the opposite. So they are the most technological advanced group of people in the whole world, which no one knows. Like, they don't even know that, because all they know is how advanced they are, how advanced Balaton is, how advanced the Dwarven Kingdom is, but they don't know how advanced the rest of the world is. So they don't realise they're the most advanced. And no one else realises they're the most advanced, because everyone else goes, oh, they're goblins, they must be savages. And then it's like, you go to this city, and it's this, like, steam-powered paradise where every person has like a luscious garden, even though they're massively underground in a mountain, and everyone has access to like ice cold water and normal water and hot water and steam as well, and there's steam baths, and there's like hot tubs and jacuzzis and spas, and you know, there's like food, and like, you know, they never want for anything. And like, unlike the dwarves, when they want to expand, they lose hundreds of people due to just the dangers of being in an underground mountain and, you know, digging it out and expanding it. You know, people are going to die, sadly. The goblins only have ever lost 2 people due to construction, just because of their methods and their ways. And, you know, they had flintlock guns and rifles and giant fucking mechs and, you know, walking skeleton chests and shit like that. And I just made them like this really advanced goblin raids, and I just loved them. And I was like, I just keep giving them all the best shit. I was like, oh yeah, and there's one you can find who's on top of the mountain, who's got a minecart, who's attached like basically different wheels and a makeshift combustion engine. Oh yeah, he's basically making like the first car. He's basically taking a minecart and making like the first car. And I just like kept like, yes, the goblins are just the best in this world. 'Cause I just love them. But even then, even inside that technological advanced goblin society I made, I still made a group inside that, like a subgroup inside that, who are like the, oh, we use crossbows and we sneak through the dark and shoot you and stab you goblins. Because I couldn't help not have those. And it was such a complex society as well, because there's like there's a whole thing going on where there's like the king and his private guard, who wear like one sort of colour and emblem, and then there's like the wider army that wear like a different colour and emblem, and then there's the Orcborn and his private soldiers. And it was meant to be this whole moment of where like basically the king is, you know, a tyrant. You know, he's the biggest goblin, he has all the wealth. He doesn't really, you know, as much as they are living in like paradise, he's still like a tyrant dick. And it's meant to be this whole point of where it was meant to bubble up to a point where it was going to be the king and his men go against the army and civilians, and then while that's also going on, the Orcborn and his private soldiers are just hunting the players down through this like civil warring city. There is just this unstoppable orc who's just like going to find them no matter what. It doesn't give a shit. Plus, I basically also made like a Leonardo da Vinci goblin, who was like the one who was making all the guns and all the robots and all that. Well, not robots. They're not robots. I want to clear. They weren't robots. They were mechs. So they were like piloted. Because that's like the difference between that's a mech is piloted. A robot is not. So they were mechs. But yeah, I got way too into creating that world. Like way too into creating that world. Oh. Yeah, I hope everyone else is doing fine this late night. Huh? See, I want to stop talking about Wesur and all that, but now that's all my brain is thinking of is Wesur stuff. But I don't want to keep talking about it. I could talk about Bear Trap and Claw stuff, but I have not done much more work on the setting that's set in the Bear Trap and Claw. It's a bit cold today, but yeah, it was a bit cold, wasn't it? It keeps annoying me because every day I'm not babysitting little man and his sibling, it's like really sunny and nice, and then on the days I babysit it's cold, so I can't take him to the park. I can't, fuck you executioner, I can't take him to the park. Oh, as in sick coldy, oh sorry. But yeah, I can't take him to the park or the garden. I took him to the garden today, he seemed to love it. Yeah, I'm having a problem with the Bear Trap and Claw. Anton ain't here anymore, is he? I was gonna ask him like sort of advice on kind of setting, really, or story. It's not the mechanics, and it's not the story of Bear Trap and Claw. It's like, because I wanted to do a setting that was more modern-y, and I already had this Bear Trap and Claw setting made, I kind of just made the modern, like, TTRPG thing in the Bear Trap and Claw universe and setting, but then it's like the whole thing of Bear Trap and Claw is they are two fucking idiots who just happen to have a bear trap and a claw, like a bear trap for his leg and a claw for his hand, who accidentally, unknowingly, they don't even know they've done it, accidentally started the Crabopocalypse. And the whole point of the Bear Trap and Claw story is they are just walking north, never finding out what's going on or why it's going on, just dealing with, like, it's meant to be the Bear Trap and Claw basically dealing with the mundane in a non-mundane setting. So they are dealing with like the mundane, boring day-to-day life stuff, but it's like an apocalypse. It's a newly started apocalypse. It's only been 2 weeks since the apocalypse started and the world has started to end. So you know, you got the society's still kind of a thing, but it's crumbling. There are giant crab people walking around. Although I don't call them crab people just because it would fully prove that I stole the idea from South Park, because there are crab people. Taste like crab, talk like people. I love the crab people in South Park. Just for that. The crab people in South Park are great, because it's just like anytime they show up, a little song behind them just goes, crab people. And then it says something like crab, talk like people. And a lot of time it's taste like crab, talk like people. And I just love it. But yeah, like, they're meant to be dealing with the mundane and being bored and like kind of like a Beavis and Buttheady style thing of like they're kind of ignorant to what's going on, even though like all this shit is going on. But then the TTRPG setting that I set in the Bear Trap and Claw universe is very much like the opposite. It's very much you are either a survivor, like someone who's surviving the Crapopocalypse, a looter who is basically like a different subclass of survivor, or you work for like the emergency government agency that's sort of been made to deal with the Crapopocalypse. And depending on that, you're either like the soldier class or like a scientist class. You can't be the sneaky class because they, spoilers, they end up they turn out to be like the bad guys. And I don't like, it's like, I guess that does kind of work, having one setting of this story being these two idiots that have no idea what's going on, and then another setting of this story explaining what's going on and you find out what's going on. But kind of feel like explaining what's going on and finding out what's going on and why it's going on kind of ruins the whole point of Bear Trap and Claw, which is they are two idiots who are walking through the apocalypse who have no fucking clue what's going on. If at that point I then explain what the fuck is going on, does that not ruin it? Like, that's why I've not been writing more for the CTRPG for that, because I'm like, does that ruin the whole point? You know, I don't know. I'm in this dilemma. Because I want to do both. No, Alice, don't stop moving. You fucker. Is there something I'm meant to be doing here, or is it genuinely just killing things? Ah, no! No, 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 no. Ooh. Ah. Oh, he's getting annoyed. What the fuck? So, yeah. One sec, I need to adjust the way I'm sitting. So, yeah, it's like, not sure on what to do there. Sort of thing. So then anytime I go to write stuff, I've just been doing World of Voiceover stuff because I'm really... It's weird to say, but as much as... Alright, playing... Is it in sub-only mode? Because I turned that off and then it seems to be turning itself back on. Let me refresh. As weird as it sounds, and as much as it didn't work and it failed, and that's upsetting to think about and talk about, so I'm trying to not to. Oh, that sucks. See, mine is she sometimes stood still. She won't. She won't move. Sorry, your controller has drift. Yeah, again, as much as it didn't work, being forced to write TTRPG stuff for a game that I was running, and I would say I was forced, like I was made to. I very much didn't want to do it because I knew it was going to fail. So to that, I told you so. But I'm also grateful that I was made to, because I wrote so much and it's like there is so much detail in my head now, but not just in my head, so much of it is written down. I keep working on it and I keep writing stuff for it, whereas all the other stuff I'm working on, I'm just working on in my head. Like even Bear Trap and Claw, I have an image of Bear Trap. I've commissioned an image of Claw. I don't have any story written out. It's all in my head. So I am grateful for that. So I do have to thank Mike and Kitten for that. Of like, you made me fucking do this thing. Which made me write stuff down, and yeah, I guess that's like it's hard to say, but writing is the first step to writing. You know, writing something, even if it's anything, down is the first step to writing more shit. And this is shit, but I will say, like, I think I will do something with the setting. Yeah, see, look, these aren't controlled by the doll maker. These are controlled by the queen. I know. Look, I'm not going to get into it too much. Yeah, I know. And I am also, like, looking for other people to play, because I want to do more in that setting, and it is all designed as a game. Like, as much as I have all the setting written out, it is also designed to be like a, okay, this story thing is written out, but it's not going to happen until someone comes along and does something. And I don't want to write characters to do the I don't want to write characters out to do the things. You know what I mean? Like to do the things that Tressa, Shadow, and Breton did. I don't want to write characters to do those things because then, if I ever do play it as a game, I'm going to be like, no, that's not what the characters did, and then I will have to remember, oh no, it's not the characters I wrote. This isn't even the right way. Why am I focusing on this? So I've not really been writing protagonists. That's it. I've not written any protagonists because I don't want to then have in my mind of, oh no, this is how this is meant to go. This is how this is meant to go. Plus, playing it as a TTRPG game led to things that like has led to things and characters in that setting that I would never have originally come up with, such as the fucking caterpillar, which wasn't meant to... Shit, I died. Caterpillar, which wasn't meant to be a caterpillar. All the caterpillars were meant to be those demon things. And because I forgot one in the top right corner, I decided not to make it a demon. Let it be a normal caterpillar, and then you guys left it in a fucking, like, arcane realm of nature. So then that thing became a thing. Centipedes, that's it. The centipede, yeah, the centipede. Yeah, you left one. Because they were all meant to just be demon centipedes, not real centipedes. And then, because I forgot, what the fuck? This isn't the way to go. What? But because I kept forgetting that guy, I think it was Greg or Steve. Greg or Steven or something, I don't know. I feel like it was Steven. I feel like I began with an S, I don't know. I have the notes somewhere I can get up. But, because I kept forgetting that guy in the battle, fully, that's all it was. I kept just forgetting this guy in the battle. I went, fuck it, he's a normal centipede, and he could just chill. And then I was like, oh yeah, he could chill. But you guys, when you left, you didn't give him time to leave. You just sort of let the door, the portal to this arcane, like, sub-realm of nature close. With this, a thing that wasn't from the realm left in it. So I was like, well, that's gonna cause, that's gonna be a thing. That's fully, yeah, he was okay, but he wasn't meant to be in that realm. It's like, you know, it's like in a I don't believe in heaven or hell, but it's like an alive person being transported to heaven and being left there, you know. So this centipede's just like chilling, but he's chilling where, like, again, it's hard to, like, it, that is the realm where a cleric of nature or like a druid would get their power from. That's where they, you know, druid, oh, where does my power come from? Oh, I have a connection to nature. Yeah, that's where that magic is coming from, that arcana is coming from. And you just left a centipede in there just to be like in the well or realm of arcane nature, arcane. So like he became a thing, which I never said to you guys, but basically he became like kind of like a centipede dragon thing of pure natural arcana. You know, he became such a thing, like, where he became massive. He became like the size of a dragon, but he was still a centipede. But he also became a thing where, like, anywhere he walked, flowers and grass and stuff would bloom, and like anywhere he defecated, like trees would start to grow out and stuff like that because of this. He got left there. And all that, like, he became this grand thing. He became this grand thing, and like I was gonna fully be like, I was fully gonna have it be, you meet a group of druids, like low level druids, who are worshipping a new god, and it was gonna be the centipede. It was gonna be the centipede. It was gonna be like, oh yes, we worship this god of nature. He is wonderful and majestic. And then it was just gonna be like this giant fucking centipede. It was gonna come over and just be like, "Argh." And I fully would have gone, like, if none of you said you recognized it, I would have been like, roll a perception check. Oh yeah, that's Steve. Yeah, that's Steve. Because then I kind of wanted this thing of like, okay, so this is these people's god, but you know their god is Steve. Like, like this image of like, if I don't believe in God, but this image of God's name was Steve. You know, it's not. This is our almighty, powerful, gracious God. What did you say his name was? Steve? Oh no! All hail the mighty Steve! Oh, fucking hell. That's fucking hilarious. Oh, see, and like none of that would have been a thing if it wasn't for the player. Same with my favorite villain. My favorite fucking villain that you guys never got to meet, which was the puppet and the puppet master. That fully just came because you killed one twin and you destroyed another one's brain so much that I basically said that his brain was destroyed in such a way it opened him up to be able to see the strings of destiny and reality and manipulate them. You destroyed this man's brain in such a way that in my world it opened up a whole new form of arcana. Like a new form of magic got created in my world because of like your actions in the first session. Like I made a whole new form of magic that had like its own rules and things, and it like he was going to be able to manipulate your guys' strings of destiny, and you would have seen what all your strings look like because everyone's strings would look different. So like shadows would have been like golden but also shadowy, and you know Bretton's would have been like all like stony and like mineral, and Tress's would have been all like flowery but then also scales and fire and stuff because and you know Tressa never got to find out the fact that she had basically become... You would have either been the start of a war or the start of a new alliance between two between two celestial races. That's what Tressa had become. Unknowingly, Tressa had become that. Because you were linked to the unicorn, the celestial unicorn, which again you wasn't even meant to be anyway, because you're not a unicorn. So then that would have there was a whole discourse going on with the unicorns and horses, because the celestial unicorn that you met is like the angel to horses and unicorns, and that's where they get their power and magic from. And a lot of like most of their power and magic was now just being diverted to you, a non-horse or unicorn. So that was going to be a whole thing. But on top of that, you had, and this again was just from your actions, you said you wanted a dragon familiar, but you wanted a unicorn celestial, right? In my lore, in the lore I created for the world, and it explained before, but there was first gen dragons, first gen celestials. First gen celestials basically genocided dragon folk and the first gen dragons, leaving only 3 first dragon. Basically, the only dragon things that survived from the beginning of the world was... Oh, I'm all the way back here. Fucking hell. Was the 3 first gen dragons... Fuck you, Biscuit. The 3 first gen dragons that created Balpon, and all the pseudo dragons, all the pseudo dragons. They were from that time because they weren't strong enough to fight in the war. They acted more like messengers and all that between the dragons. And as the war was basically like, they could tell the war was going poorly, all the dragons were going to be dead. All the pseudo dragons went into little pocket dimensions, And that's why you can call them as familiars, because they're in those little pocket dimensions. And you had the second gen unicorn celestial, which didn't know about the first gen dragons, but as a thing, as like a side effect to everything that's gone on in the past, celestials and dragons have pure hatred for each other. So then you had a unicorn celestial and a pseudo dragon. So not even like a new gen dragon, like not even like the new world dragon who doesn't know why they hate celestials. You had a first gen dragon who was, I will say, Red was like, when he was back at the beginning of like when this war genocide thing happened, Red was like a baby. Like he was very young pseudo dragon, so he doesn't remember much of it, but he remembers some of it, and he knows why he hates celestials. So then you had like this dragon familiar, celestial warlock thing giving you your power. And it was just like it wasn't gonna be like an obvious thing. How old is Red? Is old. Red is okay. So world began, dragons. Couple hundred years later, dragon folk. Couple like hundreds to almost 1,000 years later, other people, other races started to happen. About 100 years later, first gen celestials. About 60 years later, the war. So Red is really fucking old, right? Because the war happened, and then, recorded time is only 1,709 years. That's recorded time, and that's after the reset. So that's after like it's a Red is. Oh no, but that's the thing. Red is that old, but when that time happened, Red was young, like really young, still learning things, and went off into his pocket dimension as a pseudo dragon. Now, I made it so all the pseudo dragons' pocket dimensions they weren't like they didn't all go to the same pocket dimension. They all went to their own pocket dimension. So Red was around when this war was happening, but he was still young and meant to be learning and taught stuff. But then he just got shoved in his pocket dimension and just was there for like thousands upon thousands of years. So he is like ancient, but a baby. Like, not a baby, but like he's ancient, but he's also, as you said, young and learning things. Because when he's in his pocket, when he's in his pocket dimension, he doesn't age. He doesn't learn things. He doesn't. He exists, but there's nothing there. There's no food. There's no water. There's no day or night. There's no. So it's sort of like he is ancient, but he's baby. He ancient baby. That's also why I was gonna try and get Tressa to talk to Bo more, because Bo, the pseudo dragon you met in Nixie's Nook, was an adult of the time of the war, went into their pocket dimension, and now Bo is around. That's why Bo was very interested in Red. That's also why Bo can speak. Red can't. Red was never taught things and never gained experience and stuff. That's why Bo could like speak in people's minds and just talk normally, and Red can't, because it kind of time travel by stasis. But when they're in their pocket dimension, it's stasis, but they also like their mind is still a thing, and that they just don't have like a body or a form. It's I'm not good at explaining it the way I thought of the thing. So they're basically just a mind. There's no form to them when they're there. So it's gonna be, if you left Red with Bo, Red could have taught Bo could have taught Red a few things, and then if you left Red with the turtle dragon, Rodon, he would have been able to teach Red, and even turn Red into like a, as I said, panther slash dog-sized dragon with much more powerful flight and the ability to breathe fire and stuff. And it would have just been this. It kind of, again, like, Tressa was a tourist, and is a tourist at their core, and that's all they are, really. Like, not saying that's all you are, but that's. I really like that you when I just want to be a tourist. I really liked that. It was really interesting. But then all the other decisions you made, like, oh, I want to have a unicorn as my celestial thing, and I want a pseudo dragon as my companion, and that I was like, you're a tourist. Someone, again, not to say you don't matter, but like, you're not like a king or like a princess or like some, something like that. You're a tourist. And then all the decisions you made turned you into like one of the most important people in the whole of the world. Like, it really did. It really did, because that dragon, like, because I had already set up all the stuff before you guys made your character. So the first gen dragon, and then you had a a pseudo dragon as your companion, was like, oh shit. So Rhydon is the nicer of the three you could have met. Like, he's the nicest one and the most peaceful, but he was still like it's a fucking giant turtle dragon. He's not the best or the easiest to. It's not. It wasn't going to be like the easiest of things to get him to be calm and like be on your side. And then it's like, yeah, but then Tressa has a fucking. First off, giant turtle dragon, or like the big gigantic dragons, see any pseudo dragon as basically babies because they're tiny little dragons. So they're very protective anyway. And then you had a baby pseudo dragon basically. So like you had this gigantic first gen. Yeah, you had this like gigantic first generation, like basically it goes god and then first generation dragons. So basically like a demigod. Basically like a demigod. That if you guys talked to wrong, he could have just, again, this creature was so powerful, like if you guys had just said the wrong thing, he could have instant killed you. And then Tressa rolls up with like a baby. just rolls up with like a baby, which I fully decided, like, the second he would have seen Red, he would have just been like, okay, no, I don't care, these people, they must be protected, the baby must be protected. And then on top of that, as Antan runs in, I was going to say, so on top of that, Antan made a very fun thing of wanting to have his beast turny thing to be a dragon. And that conflicted with the rules of my world. Because the rules of my world was there's no dragon folk, there's no dragon people. But instead of getting grumpy at Antan and saying no, I was like, yeah, I'll let him have that, and I'll make it a thing. And basically, Breton was meant to be the first of the return of the dragonkin. His blood and his DNA was meant to hold the power to return the Dragon King to this world. So then if he had shown that to the basic demigod dragon, he would have granted Breton great favor and, like, virtue, because it could be the return of the dragon folk. Basically, for all this, you guys were basically going to be able to each ask, God damn it, why does it send you this far fucking back? It's bullshit that it's this far back. You guys were each going to be able to ask this again. This dragon is from the beginning of this world. He has been asleep for the last 300 years. So apart from that, he's been around from the beginning of this world. You were each going to be able to ask him one question. You would each be able to ask him like one question that he would answer. And that originally was going to be you guys had to earn that through how you talked, and then Tressa decided to have a baby, and Breton decided to be the fucking basically messiah to a whole race of people. So by accident, I was like, nah, this guy, at this point, this dragon would have just been like, yeah, you can all ask me a question. Oh, why does Shadow get to ask a question? Well, it would be unfair if only you two did and he didn't. So it was like you know, it was like you guys not even realizing it, but your fun little choices you made had such drastic impact on the world. And that's one thing I like about the TTRPG stuff is like you guys had fun little silly choices. Like, oh, I want a dragon companion. Oh, I want to be able to get a dragon's tail and have scales and that. Fun little silly choices and like yeah, it turned you into the linchpin of either healing the hatred between celestials and dragons or starting a second fucking war, um, a second celestial war, and then also being the linchpin of the return of a whole race of people, which were the dragon kin, like the dragon folk, which they were the ancient. Like I told you that Kales is all their technology is sort of built on these ancient like ruins they keep finding and these artifacts. And those artifacts and ruins they're finding are the dragon folk's original kingdom. So all their technology is basically like reverse engineered from the dragon folk's technology. And then also on top of that, Breton decided to be a dwarf orphan. And the fact you wanted to be an orphan allowed me to basically make you be a part of this the lost dwarves of the Frost Mountain, who were like the only dwarven group sent out from the Frost Mountain to go explore the rest of the world, and then they were never seen or heard of again. And basically they have this whole treasury set up for either every member of the Lost or their kin to claim a title and a portion of the treasury and basically become dwarven royalty in like they'll become like a sir or a lord or a lady in the dwarven kingdom. And that was fully just like the second you said orphan, I want to be an orphan, it's like cool, you're an orphan, you're also like this lost thing. Yeah, I know, but I know, and I guess you turn out to be right, and but that's also why I had you meet that coin guy. You know, the coin guy you really got on with, because there was going to be a point where there was a dwarven coin that only Breton could pick up, because you had to have dwarven blood from the Frost Mountains, or the coin would become so frosted it could basically like it would cause people damage to hold it if they wasn't from this blood. So then it was meant to be this whole thing of like, why the fuck can I hold this coin and they can't? And then you could be like, I take it to my coin friend, and he can tell me what this is. But me and the dragon do love coffee, so I head to the coffee and buy us some. And before you say I didn't make any backstory stuff for Shadow, I did. There is a whole Sherlock Holmesy Flash Assassin's Creed Templar thing going on, and that was like the main villain of the first arc, was basically meant to be like the Moriarty to Mike's Sherlock Holmes. And you know that was meant to be a whole thing, and it was slowly going to be like everyone you faced, apart from people you faced in, basically everyone you faced in the Greenlands. I can't remember the name I made up for that place, so I'm just going to call it the Greenlands. Like, were basically going to be linked back to that guy, and he was the person who got Breton's parents killed. But yeah, there was meant to just slowly be clues leading up to this guy and this whole eventual standoff. And it was eventually meant to be like, I kept saying to you guys, your actions have consequences. And that was because everything you guys left behind, like you left behind one of the twins and the other twin's dead body, or you left behind the zombie sandwich, or you left behind you didn't follow up on if can't remember the guy you fought, Breton, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. You didn't follow up on if he actually went to jail properly and all that, or went to prison properly, or what happened to him, and you didn't follow up on all these things, and you didn't get the zombie potion maker from the basement, because you didn't follow up on all these things. That guy, like he's called the Lord Professor. Um, him and his organization basically collected all the things you left behind, and he turns them into like either his people who now work for him and do his like villainous bidding, or into weapons that he can use or sell or have and stuff like this. So like he could turn the zombie sandwich, which was going to basically be like in a tank on someone's back with a tube leading out, kind of like a flamethrower, but instead everything gets shot. Basically, got like necrotic damage massively, and they rotted away to nothingness. And again, as I said, the twins got left behind. So then the puppet and the puppet master gets created. Um, stuff like that. I hate this section. I've decided. There was a chemist who was eventually, well, not a chemist, like a guy, because I did mention the spare parts, didn't I? And it was basically there was meant to be like a series of, basically like a serial killer that you guys could choose to investigate. You didn't have to, but there was like this serial killer you could choose to investigate, and it would have turned out he was basically harvesting spare parts for the Lord Professor, because then the Lord Professor was selling it to like, or they were selling all these spare parts to like the rich lords and ladies of the high city, like the upper district of the high city, who, you know, oh my kidneys stopped working and I want to keep living, I don't want to die, or like, oh my heart's giving out, I don't want to die, or like, oh I've lost an arm, I don't want to. So then he had this black market of like selling them all these spare parts, and that was a whole thing. The chemist is trust and leadership. Oh yeah, the potion maker. Yeah. Well, you guys could trust the legal system. You didn't know, but because his organization is the same organization that Shadow's parents used to work for, which they were originally set up to, in the background, make sure that the path of Baltom was always like for the good of the people and the righteous. And then basically at one point there was a. Am I meant to fall down here? Yeah. At one point there's a coup and this guy takes over and he's like, instead of doing the righteous right thing, I just want to have this organization that's set up in all points of power, and in the shadows, and I want them to, have power and such. Like Moriarty. He kept getting told off for killing people. Yes, because, you can't just go around killing people. Actions have consequences. God damn it. Like, you killed off all my fucking moles. So I have to do that with one more move. My lovely moles. No, I'm gonna die now, aren't I? Yeah. Yes, you're not allowed to help him. Fuck off. Thank you, Anton. Oh, so you didn't get to meet Goblin Death either. You didn't get to meet Goblin Death, which would have been like the first time one of you died. I needed to be that. No, I did that at the wrong time. The first time one of you died, you would have met Goblin Death, which was a goblin who had basically bartered with one of the many deaths, because there are many deaths in this, you know. Basically, he bartered with one of the deaths of like, oh, can I get, can I go back and get more years? And this death was basically like, look, if you take my place for a few hundred years and let me go on vacation, when I come back, I will grant you re-life. So it was meant to be like all these, there's this grand like different realm for death that's going on, and there's all these competent deaths who like very organized, and like everyone's getting reaped at the right time and all that. And then there's one goblin in robes that don't fit, with a scythe that's way too big and a book that's also way too big, just being like, nah, it's like just fucking really struggling with being death. And he was also at one point meant to be able to meet the death who was on vacation and play chess with him. And if, depending on like how well you played, or even if you won against him, there was multiple prizes to get from death. One of those prizes being a ebony beetle, which is something I found in the player's manual that I'd never heard of before, which is a really cool fucking thing. And then it also does just look like a chess piece. So like basically you'd be playing with ebony and ivory chess pieces, and they was all meant to be different bugs. So then the prize for simply just playing with him is he would have given you one of your ebony pawns, which would have been this beetle. So then I would have said that the pieces were made out of ebony and ivory, and then later on gone, and he hands you one of your black pawns. But it was meant to be like this whole thing of, I've said it's an ebony beetle without saying it's an ebony beetle. And then one of the other things he could grant you if you won was one of those death tokens that I've put on the Kofi. I didn't mention on the Kofi. Which are basically like, if you die, you come back. That would have been a fun character to meet. You never got to meet the witch with two bodies, with two minds / two bodies. She's an interesting character. But anyway, enough of talking. As I did fully say at the start, I don't want to talk about it, and then it's all I fucking talked about. I don't really have anything else to talk about. Oh, I've decided after Alice, I'm going to be playing the Last Campfire, which Kitten is currently doing on YouTube. Then after that, I will be doing my next event, because I'm currently in the Alice race event. And after that, I'll be doing my next event, which is a secret right now. And I think I'll have... So, I've decided that I will have 4 events a year. So April, like Alice race this year. But basically there'll be an event in April because of my birthday. There'll be an event in October because of Halloween. There'll be... And then there'll be just 2 events that I can just put anywhere in the year that I want. Obviously, the April one is meant to only be the week of my birthday, but we made it the Alice race, so it's the whole April. The October one is just the week of Halloween. But then the other two events are meant to be like monthly events. Am I making my channel too complicated? Probably. Do I care? No. Oh god, mistake. You know, if you decided to do another game in that world, I know, and I am grateful for that. And we could even work out a way for you to be Tressa still, if you wanted to be, or you could be another character. Fine. But that's the whole thing of basically like, again, finding players and players who are as flexible as you guys were on the fact that I can barely ever fucking run a game. But I basically have, I do think basically if I ever run TTRPG stuff, it will always be set in that world. I think that's just gonna constantly be the world I use and set things in. What is this over here? What is this over here? What is that over there? Oh, it's just an I4. Okay. I do love Tressa. I did also. Soul Knife Rogue is something that I'm also very like interested in myself. So if you did play one, I would also just be like, oh cool, one of my players is a Soul Knife Rogue, so I can fucking watch them play. Have them play. I'm also interested in the I think it's called the Way of Mercy monk. The monk who basically can heal and damage people with punching. He's from Tasha's as well. I made one of them that's basically like plague doctor. But I also like, I really like the fact you could heal punch your friends as that character. Yeah, the Way of Mercy, you just heal punch your friends. It's like, oh, you need some healing. I punch you in the face. Oh, that's fucking hilarious to me. One day I may run a campaign. And if you do run a campaign, Antan, I would be honoured to be in a one-shot or be a guest player. I won't sign myself up as like, say I'll be a full-time player, because I rarely would ever have time to play. But I would be up to like a one-shot or like, hey, this week, guys, we're going to have this one, like, a guest player, you know. Yeah, there's been such a wall of concern of Rogue. But I thought we should have some. Mine will be less weird. Yeah, Antan didn't like the weirdness of my setting. Antan was very anti the weirdness. Well, now I'm fucked, ain't I? What the fuck? That's just Anton. I know. But it was also me as a DM. Like, I know you don't know me that well, but you know me well enough to know anything I'm DMing. It's gotta be fucking weird. Mine did have dragons, Anton. You just never got to them. Mine had very interesting and complicated dragons. You just never got to them. You never got to what? You never got to a dragon I invented called a transformatic dragon, which is a dragon that can transform between forms. So one, that fight would have been very interesting because it would have been you were fighting like a flame dragon, once you got its health down, it would have transformed into a frost dragon. No, you were fighting a frost dragon. Once you got its health down, it would have been like a sort of earthy style dragon. Once you got that one's health down, it was then going to be a flame dragon, and then once you got that one's health down, you could kill it. But as that was going on, it was also because it's linked to the frost mountains. When it's the frost dragon, the mountain you're on is all snowy and frosty. Once you get that down and it turns into the earth dragon, all the ice and frost disappears. It becomes really earthy. A forest grows up instantly, and there's trees everywhere. So that would have changed the environment and battle. And then once you got it down to being the fire dragon, the mountain you were standing on would suddenly erupt into a volcano with magma and lava everywhere, and that would have been a very interesting fight. You know. I have a very weird, interesting thing. But then I blame my Britishness. I do blame my Britishness. I blame the Terry Pratchett and the Nightmare Before Christmas and the Monty Pythons and the Bottom and the Spaced and the Fable. So much of the Fable. I love Fable. I don't know where my love of goblins comes from, I'm being honest. I think it might be the Hobbs from Fable. I've always loved the little unlovable creatures and things, you know. Your goblins, your hobbies. You know, I've got the Fuggler teddy bear. You know, those little small little things you're not meant to love. They're meant to be like little, you know, goblin imp. And every time I see one, I'm just going, God, they're adorable. I want one. You know, rather than being like, oh, look at that weird little creature, that creepy little thing. Fuck it. My brain's always just like, oh, look at it. I just want to pet it and feed it cake. You know. So anyone who has that reaction to those sort of creatures, you know that any world they're going to come up with is not going to be normal. You know. Like, for fuck's sake, I've not even played Pathfinder yet, and the one character I came up with is a little homicidal puppet who has anger issues and killed 3 kids as its backstory. You know. That's the character I came up with as escapism. You know, I want to escape reality. This is what I want to be. Like, you know. But then again, I grew up on playing games like this, and you know, I think I genuinely think the first horror film I saw was at the age of 4. I think I was 4. The first horror film I saw. I know I was watching South Park at the age of 5 because I had a VHS of the Starving Marvin episode. And again, I grew up on things like Bottom and Red Dwarf and stuff like that, you know. Very British thing. You bitch. You fucking cunt. I didn't mean to swear there. Oh yeah, I can't remember if I said it. But I've sent your thing out now, kitten. I'm sorry it took so long to be sent out. Oh, I'm actually getting tired now. Luckily, we're ending soon. Oh, you seem annoyed. I'm sorry. In all honesty, I thought I had like the stamps I needed, the large letter ones, and then I didn't find them. And then I went to the shops and they didn't have any. And then I went to the post office near me and they didn't have any. And I was like, how do you not... Your post office? How do you not have any. Then I just ordered some on Amazon for like double the price they would have been if I got them at a shop. And then they came. No, you can do. I need to adjust it. I need to adjust that other people are not the same as my generation. I need to adjust that all ages and ranges. Oh. We do have to end soon anyway, because I do have to be up early, because I've got to go to Romford and get little man his presents. And I'm going to walk there, because I've got to start my 500 miles, and 500 more, haven't I? So coming soon to the Ko-fi, you'll see a video of me leaving my house, a video of me edited in post with a video of me walking, a video of me getting to Romford. You know, that will all be uploaded soon. All while I listen to 500 miles on repeat. I would walk 500 more just to be that man who walks 1,000. What triggered what? My leg hurts. My leg hurts. Because I'm tired. I swear you was there on the video that I announced. Basically, I've always said on my 25th birthday that I'd walk 1,000 miles while listening to 500 miles on repeat, because it's I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more. But because I have little man in my life, I'm not going to walk to Scotland and back. And yes, I did work it out. Walking to Scotland and back would be 1,000 miles if I walk. And it would take me roughly, if I walked 8 hours a day, it would take me roughly 4 weeks. That's 8 hours of walking. Gives me time to have a rest and a break and time to have sleep. Right? So. But I'm not doing that because I ain't going 4 weeks without seeing my godson. So what I'm going to do instead is I am going to, for 147 days of the year, which, you know, 4 months already gone, but 147 days of the year I'm going to walk to Romford and back, which will be an hour and 6 minutes there and an hour and 6 minutes back, which is roughly 2.63 miles. That by 147 blah blah blah. No, wait, it has to be more than 2.6, doesn't it? Oh, 2.6 there and 2.6 back, yeah. So, yeah, yeah. So, doing that 147 times while listening to 500 miles would be 1,000 miles of walking while listening to 500 miles. So, yeah. I've never heard of that song before, Anton, but I will listen to it after the stream before I go to bed. But yeah. So, I will do that. And as a way to prove I'm doing it, I'll be filming every time I do the walk. I won't film the whole song. Oh, it's not a song. I'm confused then. One of my colleagues did a walk from John R. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, now I understand. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm sure that friend was fit and walked a lot. They weren't a fat fuck like I am. But yes, I will be recording it and editing it together every time I do one of these walks. Although tomorrow I won't be walking back from Romford, I'll only be walking there because I'm buying little man a bunch of birthday presents and I'm not gonna walk for an hour while carrying those birthday presents while listening to that song on repeat. I'm not doing that. I'm getting the bus back. Fuck you. But I'll be editing together and uploading them to Ko-fi so people can't claim that I'm not doing it. It has to be by the... And my challenge is to do it before next year. $15 to 20 miles a day for how many days? How many days? I could just do this walk for a couple of... God damn. Oh, I ended up in hospital, yeah. About 4 weeks, I think. Yeah, see, that would have been the walk I was gonna do. About 4 weeks. That's 8 hours a day. But yes. Oh, alright, fair enough. Dehydration, I'm guessing? Maybe? Perhaps dehydration? But yeah. So I'll film that when I leave. During the walk. And when I get there. And then I'll edit and upload that. Enema. Wait, what? Enema? What? An enema is not... An enema is when they shoot stuff up your stuff. So, what? Oh, that one. I was gonna say. The other one is when they shoot stuff up your stuff. You know. This is not... That little grin she has. Oh. I so want a figure of him. He's one of the few characters that didn't get a figure. Now she's back to her normal dress for some reason. Can't even get her in the fucking frame. Anyway, we're gonna end now. Because I do need to sleep. And that's my hour and a half. So it adds to the other half I had, so it makes something, I don't know. I really need to update the R thing. I haven't updated it yet. Oh no, that's not meant to be there. That's like an old one. I need to update that. I've not updated it yet. That's not where we are. Yes, you're at 9. Yeah, I'm at 9. See, I'm an hour behind. You're still ahead. But yeah, thank you to Anton for the sub and watching. Although I swear you're meant to be going to bed. I forget. Thank you to Kitten for watching, and thank you to Gav. I'm really tired, as you can tell. I've been babysitting since like 8:30. So like the fact that I also did this and stayed up late, and the fact I need to be up at like 6 a.m. in the morning. It's great. I don't ever get to sleep. But yeah, thank you to Gav, Kieran, and Ted for being here, and anyone who may have watched, and anyone who watched on YouTube. Thank you to everyone, and I hope you all have a good night, and I hope Mike feels better soon. If he's around tomorrow, I'll be in his stream. If he's not around tomorrow, I might possibly steal his streaming spot and be a cheeky bastard. But yeah, thank you and goodbye.